The ether was dangerous, and would present far deadlier obstacles than the material plane. To prepare for the race for souls, Mal'gamoth knew that he would need to make his body more resilient. He had grown stronger, better able to sieve through his dimensionally shattered essence, and as long as he was careful, this was well within his power. As Mal'gamoth's essence drew upon its parasitic link, the Daemon Prince raised his great paws to the mortal skies. Reality and unreality alike shifted, destinies coalescing into form. War gear screamed into existence, bursting out of Mal'gamoth's body or simply materializing to be plucked from the air. The Unbound watched enraptured as their lord armed himself with lost relics of chaos, and roared their approval as the dark aura increased their own power. When the God-Bear roared and again sundered reality, the Unbound marched through the unstable rift without fear. The realm of Nurgle was an aggregate of fetid water and putrid alien biology, a conjunction of miasmas. The air was so choked with moisture it was almost viscous, condensing onto anything solid in a vomitous chartreuse film. The ground was soft and unstable, oozing blood, pus, and fat, like stepping on a gargantuan carcass, or perhaps the rotting body of the plague god himself. Great droves of plague-bearers threw themselves at the intruding army, but proved little more than a nuisance. Plague-bearers were, in many ways, creatures of discipline. They brought order to chaos, but they were also predictable. The Counter knew their patterns and was thus given command of the Daemon Prince's infantry. The plague-ridden outmaneuvered its kin at every turn, foiling their every feint and clinically butchering the opposing force. Once the pus had settled, Mal'gamoth gave further orders to his favored lieutenant. He could hardly trust in a Tzeentchian book, so the Counter would guide the Unbound through the realm of Nurgle to the doors of the Grandfather's mansion itself. What up, my freaks? RuinousInsight here with part 9 of my Total Warhammer 3 Mal'gamoth the Fateless narrative campaign. So as we saw last, well, you know what happened last time because of the intro. Damn, it's a habit. It's really hard to break. Anyway, we're gonna have to defend against the forces of Theoderic Gosser and Otto Meyer here. They brought about a stack and a half to deal with Warfiend. Now, Warfiend's army itself is obviously pretty garbage, but the force that it's inside the Altar of the Crimson Harvest, I think, should be able to hold, and it doesn't look like there's a crazy amount of elites in here. I mean, they do have great swords, which are going to be an issue, but, you know, the Warriors of Khorne are pretty darn decent, and I feel like they should be able to hold that, especially if we can reinforce with Felakish the Ravisher, though Felakish might actually want to move to the Tower of Crag, because now that the Confederation has happened from the Ice Court into whatever this faction was called before it got confederated, it is fairly likely for them to move here with forces and attack, and I think that Mal'gamoth did see some extra forces out here when he was out there as well, that I don't think have attacked us yet. Just something to keep an eye on. Also, between the episodes, I took a little bit of extra time to assign all the points that we had left over to Mal'gamoth. I decided on going with Destroyer for the 15% extra sacking settlements. I didn't go for Raider because I don't really use raiding much on Mal'gamoth's force, because he's too busy. He doesn't have the turns to actually spend raiding. And then I popped 2 points into Grace and Guile, obviously Endless March to reduce the upkeep for Khorne troops, and Inspiring Presence because it's a pretty good 1-point pickup for that Leadership Aura and that extra XP, even if it isn't much XP, at least the Leadership Aura, if nothing else. And then I got 1 point into Unholy Troopers because we had to pick a point and put it in something here. For now, it'll be a tiny buff to our Bloodletters. I don't imagine that his final army is going to have Bloodletters, so this won't matter, but you know, gotta put it in something for now. Man, we're getting closer and closer to 50. Alrighty, now he's also gotten some more stuff, hasn't he? I just want to double check here. What have we recently unlocked? We've unlocked the ability to use Chaos Knights and any new armor pieces. We just got a medium armor with, oh right, I think we were checking this last episode, weren't we? And I don't remember. Oh, right, was I comparing the leather armor to the medium armor? Wait, 10 ward save versus 15 melee defense. Oh, right, it's the 25 armor versus the... I mean, that's a very decent amount of armor, but to lose 5 attack and 8 melee defense is also pretty bad, considering he does need those, and his stats in that regard are nothing compared to a regular legendary lord, which can get pretty high, as he doesn't technically have his own red line. Or his, or not red line, yellow line rather, yellow line. Technically, he doesn't have any line. He just has a sort of like mix of random lines. But anyway, at the very least, he's powering up his army with this little bit of a set. You know what? Maybe what we should try to do later on is try to get another set on some of the other things. I would imagine that a couple of these Slaneshi slicey arms, stabby arms, scythed arms, there's probably a set that relates to some of those. Let's see, we got no, legs are already being used. You know what, I'll check this out later. Let's see, this one has a left arm, a right arm, and two-handed weapon, for example. Nah, but this one uses it offhanded, and if something could be like head, torso, wings, or arm, and tail, or something like that. I wonder. There might be a way to get 3 sets equipped at once and just power up our army more that way. I think that was probably the intention here. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. Mal'gamoth, you're going to try to heal up over at the Great Tree and then move back around to get immunity, and then back around again to try to get to this mansion. Now, this is... I'm going to have to do this quick. We only got 12 turns here. This is going to take, let's say, 1 turn to go here, and 1, 2... probably 3 or 4 turns to go here. And then at least 3 turns to go back. Probably an extra point in there. Yeah, we'll probably get down to like 1 turn remaining. Yeah, we gotta make sure we use our movement wisely. Anyway, other than that, I believe we can end the turn. I presume we're going to get attacked by Theoderic here, but I also presume that he's going to siege us rather than actually outright attack us, because the AI tends to be kind of cowardly. I also upgraded some stuff, but I think that was at the end of the last episode as well. Alrighty. Theoderic. Theodric. What you gonna do? Let's see, Clan Molder. You know what? No thank you, Throt. You are way too unclean and nobody likes you because you have no defensive or military allies, just enemies. And thus, why would we piss off a bunch of extra factions to ally with a very weak faction? Though we do have... Wait, is that a military access agreement with you? I wonder, we'll see how long he stays alive. Let's not do anything more. Goldtooth has entered the realm of the Sorcerer and settlement besieged. Altar of the Crimson Spawn, unsurprisingly. Oh, the second army is coming in as the reinforcement, and the little army. I really find it bizarre how you don't see what's in the army when it's sieging you. If they're surrounding your frickin' walls to prevent you from trading and getting out and doing anything, you can probably see what's in the army, right? Like, it should be close enough. And if it's not, your sentries can see it. This is kind of a silly aspect. Wouldn't you agree? Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm crazy. Anyway, the question is whether we sally out and try to attack these guys, or whether we stay in here. I mean, with those... You know what, I think we can... I think we can win in a siege, because they will also suffer attrition due to the plague that they have. So it's not just us suffering attrition. And they do lose... Oh wow, only 4 troops lost per turn. So one loses 6 troops per turn. Yeah, as long as they're suffering attrition. Although I feel like we're suffering... We seem to be suffering more attrition than they are, which is kind of an issue. I'll think about this. Let's see what else we have here. We got upgrades. Oh, what do we have here? Wow, Castalton and some other guy. Damn you, Castalton and some other guy. Alrighty, well, it looks like you, Felikish, are gonna have to move in to defend the Tower of Krak, as we're pretty much suspected. And hey, we almost got Exalted Pink Cores of Tzeentch available, which is just swell. Also, Mal'gamoth, you go where you were going, buddy. Wait. If we go into... No, we can't reach it. Okay. March stance it is. There you go. You're healed up now, but unfortunately you can't go into any stance that will prevent attrition, so you're just gonna stay in the stance that you're currently in and then move again as far as you can, despite the fact that you're taking attrition. Oh well, maintain that Vanguard deployment though, because that's pretty useful. Now once again, do we attack this? Never. I don't know whether we can win. That's kind of the problem. I don't know whether we can win in the field and whether we should maintain the advantage we get out of the garrison. If only we had this garrison instead of this one. I feel like the units that are in Warfiend's portion of the army are relatively not inconsequential. You know what, just let them siege. They'll attack you eventually. I think what we do is if this guy attacks Felakish's for... Oh, wow. Is that... He's got an elemental bear. And that's a problem. And a bunch of Streltsy. Armored Cossars. What do you have? Oh, wow. All Zargard and Streltsy. Damn, they've got some... damn elite forces while we can only afford the literal tier 1 and... Well, technically the Blue Cores are... Actually, they are tier 1. Yeah. Basically tier 1 units. I guess technically the Chaos Furies are tier 2, but they're so fragile and so cheap, they might as well be tier 1. Yeah, I guess with that we end the turn yet again, although maybe we move you, Iridescent Horror, in to try to help somewhere. Perhaps Felakish or perhaps Warfiend, whoever you can get to. Alrighty, well with that we'll end the turn, and then we'll see if these guys decide to actually attack us. Let's get to it. Hey, a free Demon, and they did indeed whoa, no, this is not them, this is... Huh, they're attacking the Tower of Crack, eh? Oh, with 3 elemental bears? You gotta be kidding me. Yeah. And man, we can't really... I guess we could get a Horse Archer. That's not even worth it, Horse Archers are pretty meh. Oh, we get a unit of Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, eh? Oh, that's pretty nice. Alrighty, well regardless, I guess we have no choice but to fight close defeat, you say. Perhaps our towers are gonna be good enough. Yeah, I really wish that we could increase the favor in the city to, you know, possibly actually seduce something good. Like 1 unit of Streltsy, maybe? We can't even seduce their armored Cossars, just not enough. Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to make this a cinematic battle? I mean, this feels like it might be pretty epic. Let's find out. Alrighty, I am very excited about this one, especially because the enemy has primarily tier 2 and 3 units and much more elite than ours, whereas we have primarily tier 1 garbage and some tier 2 stuff thrown in. We really have to rely on those tier 2 Forsaken to hold the ground for as long as they can and well, prevent the enemy from getting through, but more importantly, build up our supplies and get those towers on the field. Now, let's take a quick look at the setup that we've got going on here. I've decided that since we are being attacked on 3 locations, what I wanted to do was essentially to sacrifice one of them in favor of defeating the others. So we have a very minimal skeleton force here made up of a pair of Forsaken plus the Blue Horrors, 1 unit of Blue Horrors of Tzeentch to hold these guys off as much as possible. I even probably didn't even need to put the Blue Horrors in there. Then we have the vast majority of our ranged units over on this side. The reason being that the enemy has decided to deploy 2 of its elemental bears here, and they obviously need to be focused down by our ranged units. Finally, we have more forces over here, the other location that's going to hold against the enemy lord where our lord is present, and he does have access to that Searing Doom, which is a pretty damn useful spell. I really like the Lore of Metal. The most kills I've ever gotten, I believe, in a single battle was with Balthazar Gelt, and it was just absolute spam of that lore. It was pretty damn good. I think he got something like 3,000 kills by himself, and that was with armies and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's see which of our forces are going to get hit first, though, and it looks like the enemy Boyar is going to move in. Obviously, he's going to take some hits from the Pink Horrors, but obviously also they're not going to do a crazy amount of damage, and neither are the Blue Horrors. They are, after all, not... they're not armor-piercing damage, and this guy's got a lot of armor on that bear. So he's going to get distracted by the Chaos Warriors of Khorne here, although we're going to probably get some friendly fire. It looks like the aim is pretty good on the Tzeentch forces. Now, let's check back on the other locations. The 2 units of Elemental Bear are charging through, and we're obviously going to focus them as much as we possibly can. And then over here, there was obviously the big problem. They also have an Elemental Bear. Oh, and we missed the breath. Hey, but at least we get to watch the Forsaken fight some more. I really like these guys. They're really cool looking. And yeah, holding back all of these Warbear Riders and Winged Lancers, not gonna happen. Also, what I forgot to mention once again is that we have this unit of Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, which we are sending around from our fourth entrance to the city to sort of loop around and help out over on this side. I really like these guys. They look really, really damn cool. And on top of that, I've been wanting to get some knights in our forces, although I was thinking we get some Tzeentch Doom Knights in Mal'gamoth's army. Although, you know, it'll be Doom Knights versus the possibility of Heart Seekers or maybe Fiends. I don't know which Slaaneshi units we're gonna go with, but you gotta admit, the Tzeentch Knights look pretty damn awesome. And obviously if we go with Knights, it'll be Doom Knights over Chaos Knights. But anyway, these guys have a long way to go while we get engaged with the enemy Elemental Bears. Alrighty, obviously must focus them down as much as possible. Look at all those shots coming in from those blue and pink horrors. And let's see, how's the damage? It's not too bad. He's dropped by about, I mean, I feel like they started off a little bit damaged, so I can't quite say how much, but you can clearly see the HP is dropping. Just a matter of holding the line with our Forsaken. Ooh, I didn't notice the sky's all like cool and red looking. Nice. Alrighty, looks like the first bear is at about 33% HP and the second one's at about 66, but we still have a long way to go, and we are starting to run out of ammo on our blue horrors, unfortunately, or at least some of our blue horrors. Yeah, we should, I think, be able to bring them down. Over on this side, the enemy lords dropped to about half HP, and we have also been hitting him with our iridescent horrors ranged attack, so it's not just the rest of our units. The enemy Patriarch is also moving in, and this is a foolish move by the AI. The Patriarch is a support, it's a support hero, and it's not really meant to get stuck in. Like, this is not a Thane or something like that to fight even a basic unit of Warriors of Khorne without their armor, without armor piercing. He has no armor, so yeah, bad idea by the AI. However, the AI is getting a lot of ranged support from its light war sleds as well as its horse archers and Streltsy over here that are all firing on our units, and unfortunately it looks like our Chaos Warriors of Khorne will soon be dead. Our ranged units in the meantime are trying to focus down these armored Cossars, because while they're not fighting in melee, and especially because they're great weapons and are unshielded, we might as well do as much damage as possible to them with the range. I'm also keeping this one unit of Forsaken of Tzeentch in reserve for as long as possible, obviously, while these guys keep distracting the enemy lord. Our iridescent horror is also moving over here so it can get a better angle from over here on fighting the enemy lord. Now, in the meantime, the sacrificial location, as we can clearly see, is getting completely overrun by the enemy cav. There was no way they were going to stop it, but that's okay. And we have also managed to get enough supplies to start building a tower, and it is actually almost finished at this point. Only 2 seconds left to go, and that'll help out. Ooh, and it looks like the first of the enemy bears, under sustained fire from all those horrors, is going to pop. And there we go. Down goes the first. Really does dissipate very, very similarly to demons, doesn't it? Which does make sense. Oh, and our tower is now firing at the enemy armored Cossars back here. The second elemental bear is at about 25, probably 20% HP now, and should go down soon as well. Oh, and it looks like the armored Cossars over here with great weapons are almost out of weapons, but we do still have a decent amount of melee units remaining to hold the line there. And in the meantime, our Chaos Knights are getting closer and closer. They've been trying to target that Streltsy unit, and they have almost gotten there. I am curious to see how well they will do against them. Streltsy are, after all, a very decent melee combatant, not just a ranged unit. Second bear, about to go. 500 HP, and the knights are almost there as well. Damn it, I don't know who to die. Well, I guess we watched the bear. The first bear died, so we might as well watch the knights charge. And ooh, looks like the Streltsy turned and wanted to actually fight here. I don't think they got a volley off. I guess that they were just counter-charging or bracing or whatever it was they were doing. Well, regardless of what they were doing before, they're playing some bowling now, and they're acting as the bowling balls. There we are. So the first charge not doing really any damage, and we gotta keep in mind that these are Chaos Knights of Tzeentch are not armor-piercing. Anti-infantry, granted, but not armor-piercing. So these guys do have 70 armor, and it is going to slow our knights down in terms of killing them, but their sheer stats, 46, 52, are quite superior to the Streltsy. And man, the Streltsy even have armor-piercing weapon damage. Go figure. I really feel like a Chaos Knight is probably powerful enough to be a little bit armor-piercing with those blessed swings of those blades because of the favor of the gods. But anyway, let's check back on this side. The large pile of enemy range units still supporting us, but they are now taking quite a bit of damage from our pink horrors firing at them. The enemy lord is also getting very, very close to being defeated, has decided to attack our iridescent horror, but is not going to be enough. Plus, that sort of exposes him to taking more shots from our blue horrors as well. There we go. And it looks like the enemy lord is going to... Oh, he's already exhausted as well, and he shall break soon as well. Now, we are basically out of melee troops with only these Forsaken remaining, who are having to move aside here to countercharge these enemy winged lancers, as they would otherwise move in and attack our blue cores. And though they are okay-ish in melee, it's mostly for tar-pitting the enemy. They're not really going to do any kind of damage. We do, however, have a second tower coming up as well, which should be quite handy if we can hold the ground. Speaking of holding the ground, we're moving one of our units of blue cores into the center of the map here to try to hold the ground against the enemy force that has broken through and is moving towards the center and the location where the enemy lord is about to fall. This was obviously our intent, but it is going to be something that we have to react to as quickly as possible. We're also moving another unit of Forsaken here. In fact, we're moving as many units as possible to hold the center, as we don't want to lose towers and stuff and supplies by virtue of that getting destroyed. And I think that's perfectly fine. These guys on this flank, where the Knights of Tzeentch were and the vast majority of our range units were, have destroyed the Streltsy and the armored Cossars with great weapons. The Streltsy actually did not do particularly well against the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. We do have the barrier to rely upon after all as well. And yeah, these guys were tired on top of that. I guess so are we. But all good. Well done to the Knights. Well done to the Knights. And while they're here, the rest of our forces can move up to defend the center. We will like to do the same thing here, but obviously these guys are still a little bit busy against those war sleds and such. I'm actually very impressed that the very small amount of Chaos Warriors of Khorne remain alive. Ooh, and there we go. Here come those winged lancers getting completely surrounded by our blobs of blue horrors and getting hit in the back by our remaining Forsaken over here. Plus our Lord is also helping out now that the enemy Lord is, well, running away. Oh, he tried to take a shot at the enemy lord still. Alrighty, how are those winged lancers in here? They're actually getting pretty beat up, and the enemy have also charged in the light war sleds to try to help us out. Now, I've been reasonably impressed with the war sleds, generally speaking, the light ones and the heavy ones, just because of their ability to charge and the fact that they have armor-piercing damage. They are sleds which do function very similar to chariots, and they do have quite the charge, as we can see, bowling over our Chaos Warriors of Khorne and dishing out the damage. It's actually very difficult to stop these guys. I mean, I guess they do have bears pulling them, so, you know. You're not gonna stop a bear that easily. Huh. Is it me? Huh. The bears that are pulling the sleds are pretty heavily armored. I just want to double check that they're not more armored than the actual bear calf who are fighting over here. Are they? Nah. Looks like they're about similarly armored. Aw, no, poor bear. I feel bad whenever I see one of the bears die. They're too adorable. Speaking of bears, though, I shouldn't feel bad for them because they just ripped apart our unit of Forsaken that we moved to defend this. We needed to do so, however, and we also sacrificed the unit of blue horrors, but they did allow the rest of our pink horrors, our towers, and our other unit of blue horrors to keep firing at these winged lancers in the center and just ripping them apart with a range fire, which was obviously necessary because otherwise we wouldn't be able to kill them very easily. I mean, the winged lancers are pretty damn vulnerable to range fire, so it does make sense. But here come the bear cav. They're actually going to try to focus down our pink horrors next, which is smart because they're probably the most threatening unit that remains on the field for us, with the exception of those Chaos Knights. And I do believe we're almost ready to get, getting there, to get a third tower operational. Ooh, but the enemy is... Well, it was trying to capture an objective, but then it gave up. Never mind, ignore that. Oh, and the third bear is here as well. It's moved from our location where we let the enemy through. We are trying to focus it down with our towers. What the hell was that tower? How are you missing such a huge target? And especially because it's a target with such a huge hitbox as well. The bears in particular have a massive hitbox. Oh, damn you. It gotta be annoying when your own city screws over your own line of fire. You'd think they'd learn to build those towers a little bit higher up, on like platforms or something. And there we go, the third of the bears finally down, and the balance of power, while still not in our favor, certainly getting better. We are getting quite damaged by these damn sleds, however. Look at them running through those pink horrors, ripping them apart and doing the same thing to our blue horrors. In fact, our iridescent horror here is one of the only units that remain. We're also moving our Knights of Tzeentch over here through our other blob of units to try to prevent the Warbear Riders rather, from killing all our precious pink horrors, who are now moving to the back lines to continue providing that fire support. Pretty damn fun battle, you gotta admit. And there we go. While these guys were engaged, we hit them in the back with some Forsaken, and then some blue horrors continue spitting on them. And stuck between all these units and the Knights of Tzeentch whacking away at them, these warbears will soon go down. Balance of power is now shifting nearly half and half, and our towers are fortunately able to fire at enemy ranged units that are just standing there trying to gun us down. This is the great thing about the fact that the enemy has a lot of ranged units here. Wow, that guy in particular. Yeah, the great thing about having range units is they will stand still and allow you to hit them while they're firing, whereas the... What are you doing, tower? I was just about to praise the fact that you can actually hit units that are standing still. Generally speaking, let's go with generally speaking, they're able to... Absolute trash. I've talked about how I hate the accuracy of these towers compared to the, for example, Saneshi towers before. There we go. That one looked like it actually managed to kill a few units. Well done. Because these guys have completely stopped moving, I guess. Alrighty, and they're helping out over on this side as well. We're also going to move our Chaos Knights of Tzeentch to keep killing those units. There's a full HP Streltsy over here. A barrier really helping out as the enemy are wasting shots on it. And there we go. Unfortunately, the barrier goes down, but we are through. We're also getting a Searing Bolts on the enemy as our Iridescent Horror has actually abandoned this portion of the battlefield because all of our units here have died. Balance of power has slightly shifted in our favor, but plenty of enemy units on the field. However, as long as we have a full HP unit of Knights of Tzeentch, and as long as we have a full pink horror unit that still has ammo, I think it does look pretty good. Plus, on top of all that, we still have mana remaining to keep casting those Searing Bolts or Searing Dooms. And finally, we have a third tower coming up. I don't remember where. I think over here somewhere. Yeah, it's come up over here. So now we have 3 towers firing at the enemy. At the very least, they have a pretty insane amounts of range. And there we go. This is the last portion of the battle. Finally fighting in the center for the actual flag over here. Those Cossars with great weapons, probably not a great choice to fight a bunch of pink horrors, to be perfectly honest. Especially when under fire from a bunch of towers. There we go. Looks like those Cossars are just about out of the picture. And then there were Streltsy, but not for much longer, as these guys are getting hit by volleys from those pink horrors, who have been absolute stars this entire battle. Well done to the pink horrors. Only 33 kills, but I'm willing to bet the damage is going to be pretty high on them, plus the Knights of Tzeentch at the end. And there we go. Looks like the Streltsy are out of the picture, and the balance of power is gone definitely our way. And I think the chain route is in fact almost here. The Knights of Tzeentch have taken care of another unit of Streltsy, proving once and for all that they are able to kill those units, which, you know, you would expect going after a ranged unit after all. But also, you never know. I mean, I'd like to see what the performance of a unit of Ice Guard with glaives versus a unit of Chaos Knights of Tzeentch would be, or Chaos Knights in general. Would be a pretty fun comparison. Also, this particular settlement looks really nice with the with all the red, bloody red sky and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, with that, the battle is over and it has gone our way. We had 1/4 units remaining of the ones that we started with, but I think we did pretty darn well, especially considering they had a much more elite force than we did, and 3 elemental bears on top of that, plus a decent amount of range firepower. If the enemy had actually made good use of their Streltsy to dish out more damage, I think they could have definitely pulled this off. Also, definitely well done to those Chaos Knights of Tzeentch, 167 kills. You guys, great job. Absolutely great job. And anyway, the rest of this is just going to be chasing some enemies around, so we can just speed it up as we do that. Obviously, since they attacked us, we will need to... Blue horse. One sped up. What the hell is this? I don't know why I find that so funny, but they look so weird. Oh, man. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. That was just hilarious looking, and it broke my brain. I don't even know. Anyway, Blue Horrors, a good job at being funny and dropping to the ground in annoyance or whatever. Maybe they're laughing as hard as I am. At all of that. But yeah, we did well. We defended. We had to chase the enemy down because otherwise they would come back since they attacked us. And let's see how much damage we did and just how much of a star each of those Chaos Knights were. Alrighty, pretty damn awesome battle, I gotta say. I was correct about thinking that that one would be worthy of a cinematic. Now, I think it was also a fairly interesting perspective on the elemental bears. Like any large model, they do get brought down by that sustained fire from even basic units like Blue Horrors, and these two that were the ones that were brought down did not do nearly as much damage. The one that did not actually get brought down was actually able to dish out decent damage among the melee troops. So yeah, gotta target those big boys. Fairly impressed with the amount of damage dealt by the light war sleds as well. I didn't expect them to be as able to do melee damage as they were. Otherwise, yeah, we barely survived the iridescent horror we got to lead this actually did pretty well, but that was primarily via spamming Searing Doom constantly, and not so much because of its damage. Damage really didn't seem to be doing too much there. Anyway, we are going to dedicate this to, well, Khorne is the lowest for now, and that's just not right. So let's give it to Khorne. We've got to get it to 2,000. And there we go. Alrighty. And you're going to survive and move away. Theodoric is not also attacked either. It's actually kind of weird that his secondary... What the heck was that? It's actually weird that his secondary army did not go into an encamp stance or a raiding stance or something to prevent that attrition. Although, wait, the attrition is from plague, so I guess he can't actually stop it? Huh. How would that work, I wonder? Anyway, payments to no non-aggression pact for you, because we're gonna take your stuff. We've been planning to for a while, and damn it if we're not gonna do it. Alrighty, Pator, Zinoviev and Fyodor Biedny are dead. Oh, the Taint of Nurgle. Yeah, this is just the worst one, probably. I mean, melee defense minus 20% alone would be a pretty damn bad effect, but also minus 30% speed and minus a little bit of armor-piercing weapon damage for Mal'gamoth himself. Damn, Nurgle. Nurgle doesn't play, apparently. Now you, Felakish. So, if Kastalton attacks here, considering the fact that the garrison is pretty badly beat up, we probably do need Felakish here. Alrighty, so you move in there. Crimson Harvest still under siege, and I'm willing to bet is going to be under siege for a while. Hopefully they don't just try to wait it. Oh, what the freaking hell? We have an incursion coming in. Probably should have closed those a little, but oh well. Not a huge deal. What is a huge deal is not upgrading stuff, so let's upgrade. Monolith of Slaanesh. Yeah, we're trying to get ourselves towards those fiends and Heartseekers, and they. Oh wow. Wait, so you can get Heartseekers at 2300, but Fiends only at 27. Alrighty, well, keep those in there for now. Next up, what's the next territory? I guess it's the Hellspire Mountains, and let's go for money building here, as we tend to do, and I believe that's it in terms of building, although we want to repair you. Ooh, we do have access to the ability to build Exalted Pink Horrors now, though, should we want to. I did want to get a couple, or actually 3, especially while we don't have access to let me just think about this for a second. Build 2 here for now. What I was about to say is we don't have access to Screamers yet, or Flamers rather, not Screamers. You can cancel your Warhounds because these guys aren't going to let you build them anyway. And speaking of access to stuff, that's Mal'gamoth's army, and oh damn, these guys have respawned. Yeah, well, that was bound to happen. We gotta kill them. We gotta kill them. Let's kill Spurt Mildew first. Now the question is this one worthy of a cinematic fight? I mean, it does say Pyrrhic Victory. Oh, what kind of units do we have here? You know what, I'll probably do it like, did I do this last episode where I did one fight cinematically against Nurgle and one fight non-cinematically? So let's do this one cinematic, I guess, and then the next Nurgle fight not? Maybe something along those lines so that there's both. Let's get to this one. We'll see how epic it is. If it isn't epic enough, then at least we'll know for future battles. Go. The hell? Oh, edge of the map. Yeah. So once again, with this particular battle, I don't know whether the making it a cinematic one was worth it. But in terms of controls, especially considering this is one of those like Underway-like maps where it's just a very narrow map where you just have one blob smashing into another blob. That's just the way Nurgle likes it, by the way. Then it's this is cool. I never noticed this creepy little waterfall thing. That probably ain't water, but anyway, what I was saying was, since this is a very simple battle, we can just watch the battle happen. It's not like there's a lot of orders to give our units, with the exception of our Fleshhounds and our single unit of Seekers that are waiting in these weird Nurgle trees to hit the enemy backlines once everybody is engaged. Otherwise, the setup is pretty darn simple. We have the Chaos Warriors of Khorne out front with the Exalted Plague Bearers on their sides, and then the blue and pink Horrors obviously are going to be providing ranged fire support. In the background, we have our 2 units of Bloodletters not really trying to maintain a front line, but rather are going to be used as support and are actually going to probably try to hide in these trees and await the enemy. These guys are pretty darn vulnerable slash fragile, and we don't want them, fighting the main lines, even with the helpful healing of the counter available to them. And finally, we just have our little pile of flying units. They're just going to try to counter the enemy Chaos Furies and their own Plague Flies. Fox Riders, wait. Chaos Furies. There they are. Rot Flies. Close enough. And there we are. Let's speed it up a little bit while we get our army situated in a place where we like. We can also just move everybody up so that the pink horrors can actually annoy the enemy and force them to actually come to us, which is obviously the better option. Especially since we're fighting a Nurgle force. You gotta remember that Nurgle units are extraordinarily slow, and it's gonna take them a while to get to us, although they do have some flyers and some pox riders and all that sort of stuff, but nonetheless. Alrighty, are they ready to come to us, or are they just... No, they're just repositioning a little bit. Come on, Nurgle. You got this. There we go. They've finally been annoyed enough, and as soon as they have been annoyed enough, we open up a Chaos Gate and summon a bunch of units of Freaky worm coming out of the ground. Summon a bunch of units of our blue horrors. Ooh, and a bunch of enemy units are moving in through the sky. We're going to send Mal'gamoth to try to counter them and knock at least some of them out of the air, but it looks like they flew just past them, and thus I decided to land him instead. And this battle is going to go by very quickly. I mean, let's say we just start at 4:30. I want to see how long it actually takes after the actual start here. We're still maintaining our Bloodletters of Khorne in the back for support / reserves, but it looks like our Alurus, who is now on her awesome-looking Exalted Seeker Chariot here. I love those Slaaneshi wheels / blades. This is also the same exact kind of decoration that is on Slaaneshi ships in Battlefleet Gothic. I just wanted to point that out. There we go. So yeah, we got a bunch of Furies that for some reason decided to attack a chariot, which seems like a pretty bad idea because it does do splash damage, and they're gonna get surrounded by these Bloodletters of Khorne. Maybe they're just keeping us busy here for the Pox Riders to move in, however. That's another possibility. Mal'gamoth's in the center of everything. Ooh, and we do have the ability to use that Cataclysm ability, that Thunderstorm or Lightning Storm. It looks pretty damn awesome. Look at that. Yeah, it's not hitting a lot of enemies. Ooh, and we get those slicing shards going on the enemy at the exact same time. So whatever the units were that were in the center over here that got hit by the Cataclysm and our own pretty damn strong ability got absolutely ripped apart. Of course, it didn't do much to the Great Unclean One, nor did it do much to Mal'gamoth or the enemy lord, but at least it cleared out a lot of the chaff. Were you even chasing Great Unclean One? I have no idea where he was going. Mal'gamoth, get back to killing regular chaff units. Now, obviously, because Mal'gamoth has those damaging effects, those damage over time effects, we're better off just pushing him into blobs of enemy units to rip them apart, as if he had like a Bane Spear himself. Obviously... Oh, yeah, that's a lot of splash damage from that one swing, damn. Although, to be fair, a lot of those were Nurglings, and they are quite numerous. But yeah, well done, Mal'gamoth. Well done. I do wonder how much damage you're going to be... Oh, wow, yeah, you actually haven't gotten a lot of... Wait, that's Plague Bearers. What's your kills here? What's your kills? 50, it's actually not too bad. Once again, his stats are kind of although the melee attack is starting to climb. The weapon strength is obviously a little bit on the low side, but yeah, once again, gotta remember that damage over time stuff. The enemy Great Unclean One is, we're trying to focus him down a little bit with our range units, as you can see, because that's really our only option, but otherwise, he's not taking too much damage. We're also going to charge a unit of Exalted Plague Bearers with our Seekers in the back, and then both units of Fleshhounds, one in the flank and then one in the other flank, as soon as they position themselves. This should, I would think, rip apart this enemy unit of Exalted Plague Bearers, even if they do poison us and slow down the killing. Come on, Fleshhounds. I think they might have gotten distracted by a couple of isolated Plague Bearers. Anyway, let's see, and we're still trying to fight that Great Unclean One with Mal'gamoth. The Great Unclean One's actually at about half HP, so Mal'gamoth's doing pretty decently against it. I was originally hoping to have Mal'gamoth kill the enemy lord to morale shock them into dying, but it looks like we're gonna have to have some Greater Demon versus Greater Demon action here. Or I guess Exalted Greater Demon versus Greater Demon. And there we go, gonna get a little bit of help from our Warhounds as well, or our Fleshhounds, and the enemy Great Unclean One starts melting. Unfortunate, this thing has such a tank though, it has a lot of HP, although it could really use some more armor, and definitely could use some speed. Just by virtue of being so slow, it's not that much of a threat. And there we go, just like that, the enemy lord dies and the battle is pretty much over. It took about 2 minutes, which is about average, I would say, but certainly quite a short battle. And it is average in the Total Warhammer 2 sense, but generally speaking, the battles in Warhammer 3 are a little bit longer, especially early game. So yeah, that was quite quick, and we didn't appear to take much damage at all. I think this one unit of Blue Horrors got hit, but everybody else is more or less fine. At the very least, we got to see some units and some animations and some fighting and all that sort of stuff, but otherwise, perhaps the next one we will take and just do non-cinematically and just wait for the better battles to fight cinematically. So anyway. Alrighty, so not once again what I would call a particularly difficult battle, as pretty much all of our units won their respective fights, and we only lost about 10% of our own, so but on the other hand, it did look pretty cool, so, you know, I'm conflicted. Let's see, who did the most damage on their side? On their side, couldn't possibly be the Furies, could it? Well, they beat the Great Unclean. Wait, no, actually, the Great Unclean one seemed to have done the most damage, and perhaps. Oh, let's see. Wait, 3,600. I guess it's ultimately not that important. Oh, I just noticed that the Great Unclean one actually got no kills. Most of that damage was probably done to Mal'gamoth, who healed it via Gorfeast and various other things. So, yeah. Alrighty, now in terms of glory. Oh, really? Only this much glory? I feel like the glory should be doubled to that specific god when you're in their realm, but maybe that's just me once again. Anyway, we're gonna give this to Slaanesh because we want those Fiends and Heartseekers. Even if that does upset Grandfather Nurgle. Now, Banner of Swiftness gives us, wait, Speed and Attribute Strider. Huh. Wait, so they've changed, didn't this used to give Perfect Vigor in Game 2? That made it a really worthwhile standard, now not so much. Oh well. Now Mal'gamoth, I guess you were gonna have to go into encamp stance and keep moving down. Oh, but this guy will catch you and then force you into attrition. Okay, so we have another option, wait. You can heal like this fairly well. How far can you move? Not so far, eh? So we could just move as far, wait, can you still catch us? Maybe. I think we can move just to the edge of this and then this guy wouldn't be able to catch us. So let's do this. You're gonna move here. You're gonna suffer attrition regardless. But if you're safe, and I hope that I hope though he can't actually reach us. It's really, really close. And if he can, it's not gonna go so well for us because we will be in march stance. Ugh. Maybe this was a bad idea, but the fact is we only have 10 turns. We have to go all the way up here, grab this, and then come down once again. Ooh, we also did get level ups, though, so we might as well pick some of those. Let's get... What were we going through last? Oh, we were going through Grace and Guile, so we might as well continue to go through Grace and Guile until we get Battle Delight. Alrighty, well, that's an easy decision. And then you, now that you have your Exalted Secret Chariot and Immortality, I guess you're just gonna keep moving towards Deadly Onslaught via... let's see. You should really get some armor, but Deadly Blade also... I mean, to be fair, at the end of the day, we might have enough points to get both. Let's get the Deadly Blade for now. Just 3 armor just seems not enough to make it worthwhile. Ooh, and then we'll have to pick out which one of these we are wanting. Now you need to keep going through your spell stuff, so Arcane Conduit, unless... We can get your Nurgle Palanquin at any time now. Once again, I think about it. What's your guys' experience been for those who have played with Nurgle units with the Nurgling Palanquins? Generally speaking, I would prefer to get a flying caster, but this could be quite nice, especially as this guy is sort of an anchor in our line here. I guess we'll see. Now, once again, Warfiend and Co. You guys, well, I guess you're still defending. So just keep on defending, and otherwise I believe we've done everything in terms of our buildings that we need to do this turn at the very least, though we did get a little bit more cash. Really still tempted to upgrade this even though we don't need it, but let's hold off for now. And everybody else is good? Yes. Let us end the turn. Let's see what else happens. I'm really curious to see if Mal'gamoth gets attacked here. And then what we'll do about it. Alrighty, looking good thus far. Great Orthodoxy. I really would have liked to have seen where you had moved now. Waiting for something to happen here. Wait, did Nordland already move? I think they did. Yeah, they're still sieging and not attacking. And where the heck are you going? Where's that incursion going? It didn't go for Doomkeep, even though it spawned outside it. Weird. Alrighty, a Land of the Plague Lord entered, Seducers of Slaanesh, and a Brutal Business. That's just the base weapon damage for everybody. Alright, fair enough. Guess still suffering attrition, and so are we. It's gonna be half a force versus half a force, I guess. Okay, okay. You're just raiding now, aren't you? He's not gonna attack. There's no way he's gonna attack this. So he's just going to keep annoying us and not allowing Felikish to move out. Oh, they got another full stag coming in as well. Damn. I guess we're gonna have to keep essentially 3 lords here, here, and here permanently to just constantly defend against this stuff. I mean, fair enough. It's just a matter of being able to afford them with our current econ, which obviously needs a little bit of an upgrade. And growth still here. Yeah, I guess we keep the growth up until we get the Bastion of Chaos, and then we switch it out to increase money like we have over here. Alrighty, well, I guess that's nothing to upgrade then. But no, I'm gonna skip that. And it looks like Mal'gamoth did indeed avoid getting attacked here. Nice, nice. So here's what we want to do. We have 9 turns remaining, and I think we're looking pretty okay there. Let's move here. And then let's go into our encamp stance and start moving in it. There we go. Just move up here. 2 battle victories required for this level. Progress will decay unless a battle is fought this turn. Well, then it will decay because we can't possibly fight a battle right now unless we march stance right in front of this guy. Alrighty, well, this episode's unfortunately pretty much out of time, but I'm going to end one more turn just in case these guys attack, and I'm willing to fight it if they're willing. So let's find out. Skip the rest of this, end the turn, see what these guys are all gonna do. Hey, who knows? Maybe Castalton will, you know, be brave enough to attack. Oh, damn it! I should have moved the Iridescent Horror into Felikish's army, considering she's using a primarily Tzeentchian force, despite being Slaaneshi herself. Still, once again, Mal'gamoth, unity of the various demon types and all that, looking pretty good. And when I say unity, Slaaneshi giggle. Alrighty, wait, I think Theoderic moved once again. Nordland, you bunch of cowards. They're really gonna try to keep sieging this, aren't they? Oh wait, is that, Winds of Pain. Wow, now we have a Brutal Business and Winds of Pain. Well, the unfortunate thing, oh, is he getting another army here? What an irritant. Well, it's gonna be very difficult for Warfiend to defend this now. If only Daddy Mal'gamoth could come back and deal with this for him, but if he can't, he can't. We'll just try to hold on. And if only these guys would attack. Just a little bit out of the way. I'm almost tempted to try to move back here and go into ambush, but yeah, we haven't. Oh, what are you doing? What is this? Where are you going? Oh, he's gonna go around and attack at the Altar of Spawns, which does also have a garrison, but it's a trash garrison compared to what we have. Is this guy really going around to do this? Damn. The AI is really quite annoying, isn't it? Because it's not attacking, it's just trying to annoy you to death. Well, regardless, I think that's about all we've got in this episode, and I am going to have to call it here. It was a pretty fun one. We did get many battles, or at least 2 cinematic battles. I was hoping for another regular battle, but I guess we'll have to save that for next episode when these guys attack, and we have once again a desperate battle to survive at the Altar of the Crimson Harvest, just like we had a desperate battle before to survive at the Tower of Crack. At least, if nothing else, these are giving us some really fun battles, so stay tuned for more next time. So with that said, as always, I do appreciate any and all feedback with regards to the gameplay. I'm just gonna finally do this, or the way I do things on this channel. And don't forget to leave a like and comment for your friendly neighborhood heretic. All glory to the algorithm, money building, and thanks for watching.